And hi everybody out there, Mark Mannering here from Class Training with another 3-minute tips and tricks. 3 tips in 3 minutes, more or less. And in this session, I just want to cover a very important aspect of Excel, and that's how to work with formulas much more better. How to create formulas in your Excel spreadsheets more easily. So let's get into it. So what I've got here is just my simple example with sales data for New South Wales and Victoria by the month, and on one particular sheet, and on another sheet down here, I've got this summary of those sales, and I've already put the formulas in, the total and the average of those sales. Now, all I've done is use the auto sum for this example, and if I double click here on this formula, you can see the formula a bit more better, and you can see I've used the standard sum of B4 to B9 on that particular sheet. Press escape. For Victoria, if I double click, I can do the same thing. I can see, the sum of such and such, C4 to C9, and so on. But it took a long time to set those up, to go back and select the cells back here to add up the particular figures for New South Wales and Victoria, and then to get the average of the same data. And if I check the formula again, if I double click this one, the average of B4 to B9. Now, I'm not really sure, is that correct? I better go back and check that, and so on. So the problem is it's taken me a while to create those formulas, and then when I come back to it later, I've got to double check, is that formula correct? Is it referring to the right cells? And I don't want to take all that time and do that double checking. So here's a much better way. So tip number 1 is to firstly create cell range names. And we cover this in our sessions if you've been along. And all they are is just a shortcut name that refers to a range of cells on your spreadsheet. It's very similar to a speed dialer on your mobile phone that you just hit the number and it rings the whatever it is, saves you time. So to create a cell range name, you firstly manually select the cells for which you'll create the cell range name. And by the way, I never have to manually select those cells again. With the cells selected, I then click up in the top left-hand corner where it says the name box, and I click in there and type in the name. And these cells refer to the New South Wales sales. I'll just type in New South Wales. Capital letters or small letters, it's not case sensitive. Type in the name you want, press enter. And I'll do the same thing for Victoria. Manually select the cells, click up in the name box, type in the name you want, Vic will do, and press enter, and all done. Now to check those cell range names, I can just click the drop down for the name box, click on Vic for example, and it selects the cells automatically. Click the drop down again and click on NSW, selects those cells automatically. Even if I'm in a different sheet, I can go to the summary sheet now, and from any sheet I can go click, and there they are, New South Wales, and it refers back to the range of cells. And then tip number 2 is to use those cell range names in your formulas. So I'll go to the summary sheet where the old formula is, I'll start again, click and drag and delete those. And now all I need to do is to enter the sum formula as equals the sum of NSW. Now I don't need the closing brackets, by the way, so I press enter and there's the same answer as before. I don't want to type it in, so I'll just delete that and put it in more easily. So to enter that formula automatically, we just use the auto sum button up here on the home tab, click that. For what range of cells? You press this keyboard shortcut, F3 on the keyboard, up comes the names as well. Click the name you want, okay, and it goes in, enter. Now to check that formula, I could again double click on it like I did before. It says equals the sum of New South Wales. Oh, what is New South Wales? NSW. I better check that range of cells. So I click up here again on the name box, drop down, click NSW, and it goes back to the relevant cells. Yes, I see that they're right. So I've completed the other formulas for the other examples, and if I double click again, I can double check the results, double click the formula to see the formula to check they're right, and they all relate to the cell range names, and I can check those cell range names as I did before. Tip number 3 extends this and says, well, what if I now add more data? I've got new data to add on this sheet. So if I copy and paste all that data onto my workbook or worksheet, Control C and then Control V, and then I go to my sales summary, those formulas haven't updated. So the cell range name won't extend automatically. Okay, so that's back to where it was. The way to do that, to make the cell range names extend automatically and also then update the formulas automatically, we apply Format as Table. And there you go, I've applied Format as Table in the blink of an eye. We've covered this in another session. So now I've got that set up as Format as table. If I now go and add on the new sales data, highlight all that, Control C, back to here, click there, Control V. Because of the format as table, it has automatically extended the cell range name definitions to include those new cells as well. If I go back to my sales summary, everything's updated. And it makes it more automated. We cover all this in our Excel intermediate session, which is coming up. So have a look over here for the link, or down there in the description or whatever, or contact me if you want to send some people through. Hopefully we've got face-to-face sessions and an online session schedule as well, so hopefully we might see you there. And it's Mark Mannering signing off until next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.